All right. I don't even know if you guys can even see me here. I'll try to set this up because it has been extremely windy. So let me even see if you guys can even see me on this. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. Let's see what it's looking like. I'm having to do this from my car tonight because it's a little windy. We've been getting rain a lot. So let me see how this looks. See how it sounds. Oh yeah, you guys can see me. You can hear it. So, what's up, guys? I have recorded my podcast today. If you haven't checked out the Tuddle Daily podcast, please do. I don't even know why I'm even doing this live stream. I've got Dog Piss Willie in the chat room. Last live stream tonight, most likely. I don't know. I'm not showing anybody. Cold Ham's just. I got 6 now. It's on a little bit of a lag. Late live stream tonight? Yeah, late live stream. I've been busy. All right, so this is what I've been doing. Back to what I was saying. If you want to check out the Tuddle Daily Podcast, I hope you guys have been checking it out. If you have not yet, please do. Search the Tuddle Podcast. It's found on many platforms. You can check it out. If you want to check out the direct link, you can do that by... I'm not even getting much... I gotta look. All right, so you can see me better here. All right, so check out the Tuddle Daily Podcast. You can check out the direct link by going to Tuddle. That's Tuddle with 2 Ds, Tuddle .podomatic, Podo Matic, MATIC.com. That is the direct link you want to check out. Tuddle.podomatic.com. But if you go on iTunes, Spotify, or iHeartRadio, you can check out the Tuddle Daily Podcast. And please help spread the word because I'm building my audience every single day. It's growing by far. I'll be honest with you. It's not growing a lot, but it's growing probably about 3 to 5 new listeners a day. I know. Hold on. Let me see what I can do here. Hold on. No, I don't have a map light. Let me see here. Let me see what I can do here. See if I can get this to turn on. Let me see here. Lighten it up. No. I gotta see if I can. I don't know why I can't turn on the goddamn light here. Let me see here. Enable flash. Yeah, let's see. All right, let me see if this works out a little bit better, guys. See if you can see me better with this on. I don't know. We'll see. Let me check it out. Sorry, guys. Bear with me. All right, let's see if you can see me better now. Am I zoomed in? Fuck. I don't want to be zoomed into my fucking face. Let me see here. Yeah, I was zoomed in. I don't want to be zoomed in. This is fucking horrendous enough. You don't need to be zoomed in on it. Let me see if you can see me better now. Come on. Let me see here. No, still out of focus. Let me see. Come on. I gotta get this right. Sorry, guys. I'm broadcasting from my podcast studio here. Let me see if that... No. Fuck. Yeah, I'm going to have to turn off the light. People aren't liking it. Let me do that. That's not working. Disable flash. Turn it off. Let's see if you can see me any better. Or it's still out of focus. Yeah, that's a little bit better. That light turns it off. All right, sorry about that, guys. All right, so yeah, check out the Tuddle Daily Podcast. I'm doing one today because I want to get a day ahead. So from what I've seen is my numbers have been great, but I usually don't upload the newest podcasts until like 1 or 2 o'clock. So my plan is to have the podcast uploaded at midnight so I get the full effect of 24 hours a day and see what the stats are looking like, guys. So it'll be ready for you guys every single morning from this point forward. Like I said, my content is always going to be free, and I know times are tough right now, guys. I know people are saving up their money. I was actually, yeah, I'm in the PT Cruiser, Cold Hams. Yeah, I'm in the studio. I'm in the PT Cruiser Hobo Fish Camp Studios. And if anybody would like to donate or sponsor the PT Cruiser Studios. You could do that if you want to sponsor it. Hell, I'll take $5. You can PayPal it to me, $5 if you want to sponsor the PT Cruiser Studios. You can email me Tuddle, that's Tuddle with 2Ds, Tuddle @gmail.com, and you can PayPal it to me if you want to donate to the cause. Most of the money that I'm getting, I just ordered a new microphone so I can record better audio for my podcast. It's all going back into and being reinvested back into the podcast. So if you want to do that, you can go to my PayPal, paypal.me/Tuddle on the radio. That's paypal.me/Tuddle on the radio. So on today's podcast, the one that you'll hear tomorrow morning, I've got a lot of good stuff. I'm going to talk about it because a lot of people have been saying, oh, the coronavirus, you ain't got to worry if you're young. Guess what? A very sad, sad story. There's a lot of sad stories when it comes to this pandemic. But we lost a Leo, a law enforcement officer. He was a sheriff's officer. He was a deputy, I think, down in Broward. But I'm 100% sure that it was in South Florida. He was 39 years old. 39. That's younger than me. And I thought I would be okay. But at 39, this deputy down in South Florida ended up dying. And I think it's going to be a wake-up call to a lot of people to be able to take... Oh, my light's turning off. Hold on. Let me turn the car on. Shit. Hold on, guys. It's because of my studio. Let me see if I can turn the light on. Oh, you can see me now. There we go. I'd turn this on. All right, guys. Listen, I'm flying at the seat of my pants. What's up, McDave 1407? Thank you for joining me. Please share this. Let people know about the Tuddle Daily Podcast. But I think it's a very, very sad story about the guy ended up dying that was a deputy, a guy out there protecting and serving us. And it's just sad to see one of our first responders and the nurses, the doctors, the police, the paramedics, the fire department. They are killing it. They are doing the best that they can. And I talked about this on my social media, is that I know it's early, but I think when it's all said and done, the Time Person of the Year is going to be the first responders. And I'm going to group them all together. I'm going to talk about the doctors, the nurses, the paramedics, the firefighters. What's up, James Turner? The police officers, all of them. They deserve to be the Time Person of the Year for what they're doing, because a lot of these people know going into it that the chances of them getting infected by the coronavirus are great, and they still do it on a daily basis. And the other story, will you put a sticker of my name on the PT if I sponsor? Yes. Yeah, Cold Hams. Just throw me some cash on my PayPal, paypal.me/Tuddle on the radio. But I think the Time Person of the Year is definitely going to be the first responders. And I know first responders are firefighters, paramedics, police officers, and stuff like that. But I think you got to group them in there with the doctors and nurses as well. The other story that I talked about on my podcast that'll air tomorrow is the bus driver in Detroit. I don't know if you heard this story, but the bus driver in Detroit, he was working on a daily basis driving buses at the beginning of this pandemic, and he did a video because there was this passenger that came on his bus that was coughing, and the guy asked her a couple of different times, hey, please cover your mouth. We're going through a pandemic right now. Think about everybody else. Stop being so selfish. Yeah, the bus driver story is crazy, McDave. And he did a video, he did a Facebook post, kind of ranting about how people have no, like, common sense or care about this. They think they're just going about their life on a daily basis, and you can't right now. But this bus driver ended up getting fired because of this Facebook post that he put up. And then I think 2 or 3 days later, he ended up getting sick. He got sick after he was fired for complaining about some asshole woman that would not cover her mouth. And then a couple of days later, it just comes out, the guy, he passed away from the coronavirus. He succumbed to the virus and ended up dying. One of the other stories, and I'm not drinking, guys. Look, I don't know if you can see this, but this is a Coke Zero. I don't want you to think that I'm drinking again. Let me see how this sounds. I've been getting pretty good signal. Yeah, that's scary. That's a scary thing with this disease. The guy seemed perfectly healthy in that video and then died shortly thereafter. The time between getting sick and dying is very short for some. Yeah. I've talked about this, and I'm going to talk about this on tomorrow's podcast as well. I've said this. I don't want you guys to think that I'm some big conspiracy theory guy, because I'm not. I don't want you to group me in with the whole Alex Jones conspiracy, Sean Raz type gay. God rest his soul. I love you, Ledge. I miss you, Ledge. Wish we could have hung out more before you passed away, but Ledge was a big conspiracy theory guys. And you know what? Conspiracy theory guys are great because they question things, and sometimes they're right. But some of the shit that Alex Jones comes up with the crisis actors, and it was staged during Sandy Hook, I just don't think that's right. But with these people, the celebrities, matter of fact, the ones that have been getting sick, the ones that have come out and said that they had the coronavirus, just like Tom Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson, they got sick and they're pretty healthy. They're not old. I think they're close to being 60, but they got through it pretty well. We didn't hear of any complications that they had. I think Pink has it, but she's new, the singer Pink, so we really don't have much of an update on her. But look at Idris Elba. Idris Elba from the TV show Luther and The Wire. He had it and really didn't show any symptoms, but he had been around somebody that had the coronavirus and ended up getting tested and showed positive. And then the one thing that really makes it suspect is somebody like Prince Charles, who is, I think, 72 or 73. He ended up getting the coronavirus, and he seems perfectly fine. He did a speech yesterday and he seemed fine. And you would think somebody at that age would have a little bit more of a difficult time dealing with the coronavirus. So I'm looking at it at two ways. A lot of stuff that I read is that even people, and God, this is like blowing my credibility out of the water. We must keep Betty White safer. Yes, Betty White, she's American treasure, and we don't need to lose her, as well as Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is a goddamn motherfucking national treasure, one of the most cherished actors. And he's one of those celebrities, Tom Hanks, that if you look at him, I've never in my life have ever read a controversy surrounding Tom Hanks. That's the thing. It's only 2 out of 10 that gets it seriously. It's hard to say what that is. Can't lose Betty White. She's an icon. Yeah, I agree. But like Tom Hanks, you've never heard of any controversies involving Tom Hanks. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I haven't read them. I'm just a big Tom Hanks mark. But back to what I was saying is that it's either two different things. And from what I've read, a lot of people are saying that the celebrities are being paid like an endorsement to come out and say that they have the coronavirus, just to make it relatable and for people to take it seriously, because it's somebody they know, somebody they've watched or followed through their career. A lot of people think that they're coming out and saying that they have the coronavirus for people to take this pandemic more seriously. And the other thing that I've read is that a lot of people think that the reason that the celebrities are makes everyone realize it's real. Yeah, I agree, Daniel. But a lot of people are saying that these rich people, that they actually have a cure or something to help these people when they get sick that is only affordable to the famous or wealthy rich people. So that's one of the things that I've heard out there. And I don't follow conspiracy theories too well. I just find it very curious that some of these celebrities that have come out and said that they've had it really have not had a difficult time with it at all. I read today that Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of England, actually had come out last week and said that he had it and is now hospitalized. I don't know how serious it is, but that's the only like famous person that I can think of that's had a little bit of a hard time with it. They are just healthy all around mostly. Yeah, you could be right. That's why I don't put too much weight on some of these conspiracy theories. I don't know what else that I'm going to... Oh, the other thing... Oh, my light. It's turning off again. God damn it with this bullshit PT Cruiser Studio. I got to turn on my light again. Let the light come on. All right, we're back. Back to what I was saying. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, that a guy that I actually thought had a lot of credibility, because I was a big fan of his because he was in radio. LOL, what you get for doing late, or for doing late, LOL, yeah. Yeah, that's what I get for doing a late thing. But I've been busy. It's been horrible weather. I've been busy helping out a neighbor and helping out my parents. I didn't go out today, so that was good. But the other thing I want to talk about is a guy that worked in radio. One of the radio stations that I learned so much with was Real Radio 104.1 in Orlando. They got the Monsters, the News Junkie. I think Sean Wasson, I'm a big fan of Sean Wasson. What he's done with the News Junkie is amazing. I think potentially, if he's not already there, I think he might be the best radio personality in Orlando. The guy is just a professional. He's great at what he does, and he deserves all the accolades he's getting right now, because they're having huge ratings with the News Junkies. So I'm a big Sean Wasson fan. But back to what I was saying, was one of the overnight shows at Real Radio 104.1 was Love Lines with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew Pinsky. And I've always been a fan of Dr. Drew's. I thought he really had no agenda. He was one of those TV doctors, but man, he really put his foot in his mouth. Some of the things he said did not age well at all, because for so long he was saying that this isn't going to be worse than a flu. It's just a flu. People are taking this too seriously. The media is blowing it out of proportion. And I will agree with him on that part. Yes, the media has been playing on the fears of the American citizens, but that's kind of what they're paid to do. They're paid to get ratings, even though we're going through such a horrible time in our country right now. They're still out to get ratings right now. I know they're hurting because a lot of people are pulling out their ads. Yeah, I got that audio where Dr. Drew recanted his story, but just some of the things of all of the appearances he was making on local news, national news, on all the 24-hour news cycle TV stations like CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News. He was all over the place, and he was coming out saying, this is not as worse as the flu, it's just the flu. Why aren't people making a big deal about the flu? Yes. Patient zero might have been a lab assistant in China. It could be. I've read those conspiracy theories about it coming out of a lab, but I really do believe it came out of the wet markets. And I think we got to do something about China and the way that they'll eat every fucking living, breathing thing and not even cook it. They'll fucking eat shit raw like it's nothing. And that is the reason why we're in the predicament that we're in right now, is because China will just eat the most fucked up shit. And it's not their fault. The citizens that are there, they're way overpopulated. They're too urbanized right now. And that's the reason why they're having to resort to eating shit that they necessarily don't want to eat, but they got to survive. And I don't blame them. It's not their fault. It's not the citizens' fault. It's the government for not taking care of their citizens. China needs to do a better job, and they need to be held accountable for this whole fucking deal that we're in right now. So I'm getting a little off. But yes, Dr. Drew, I played the audio that'll be heard on tomorrow's podcast. Pro Trader Matt writes, I will email you the video. They have boots on the ground and speak and read Chinese. All right. Yeah, I would like to. Email me, tuddle@gmail.com. I like to read every side, even if the story is ridiculous. I like to read it. Am I going to talk about it? I just like to hear different opinions on everything that's going on. When I hear some of the people on social media that are like just downplaying this, I think that's detrimental, especially some of the people on the radio and TV that are saying that this is being blown out of proportion. I think that's kind of dangerous because, yes, you know what, I'm going to call him out, Donkey Teeth. I love him. He's a great guy. I love his opinion. He's very opinionated, but for him to come out and say that the elderly, the people that are on Social Security right now, are a drain on our society. Yes, we are having to pay their way. We're having to take care of them right now. But guess what, guys? My dad, I'll take my dad, the guy that I know. I'll give you a scenario. My dad busted his life, all his life, working hard, paying into Social Security to take care of the older generation, the generation before him. Um, yeah, it's too early on. I agree. We still have not lost as many as the flu right now, but if the predictions hold true, this is going to be far worse than a flu. But back to what I was saying is that my dad worked his ass off and paid into Social Security to take care of the generation before him. Now that my dad is on Social Security, he's retired, he deserves it. We need to take care of our elderly because they put into society and took care and paid their debts and took care of their responsibilities. And you know what? It's time to take care of them. It really is. And I have no problem. I don't look at the elderly as a drain on society. I look at the elderly as a very viable and important resource for us because those are the people that have lived through history, the ones that we can learn from. And that's why the elderly, our previous generation, our parents, our uncles, our grandparents, they're all important and they need to be taken care of. So the people that aren't taking this seriously are putting those people in danger. The ones that are healthy, the ones that can get through this and come out of this pandemic, okay, if they caught it, that's good for them, but you're still a carrier. And you can, man, I'm getting dry mouth. I've been smoking a little bit of weed too, so maybe that's why I'm getting a little dry mouth. See, Coke Zero. Daniel writes, they paved the way for us to be here today. Gotta respect what they went through. Yeah, I agree. We got to take care of the generation that came before us because we want to be taken care of as well. So it's kind of like one of those things you pass on. You take care of the previous generation because you expect the generation before you to help take care of you. That's just the way it is. Social Security is one of the most successful government programs in the history of our country. Hell, it was so successful, our government robbed Social Security just to pay for everything. I don't even know if they've even paid that back. But I feel like we need a perfect harmony. You got to take it serious enough, but not too seriously. But don't like just blow it off like this is not anything. Because you're responsible for yourself and your neighbors, your family, and the people in your community. So I'm sorry, I'm just kind of ranting. And like I've talked about this, guys, I'm sorry to talk about this pandemic all the time. I've done, oh, God damn it, with this light again. I'm in the PT Cruiser studio, by the way. My light keeps going off. But yes, I've worked in radio all my life. I've done show prep for some of the biggest radio shows of all time, most successful radio shows in Central Florida. Drew Garabo, The Monsters in the Morning, Jim Phillips. I've worked with Jim Phillips. I worked with Ron and Fez, Ron Bennington. I've worked with Calta. I've worked with Bubba the Love Sponge. I've worked with many, many shows, and I've done show prep for a lot of them. Need one of those push light hobbies, yeah, and it does that run. Yeah, it runs on batteries. I'll look into that. I'm still growing my podcast studios here in the PT Cruiser studio here at the Hobo Fish Camp, but I've done show prep for some of the biggest shows, and I try my hardest every single day to find shit to talk about that is not coronavirus related, and it is difficult. Every once in a while, I'll find a piece of audio or a news story to be able to get people's minds off of what we're going through. One of the things that I found this week that I got a good 10-15 minutes out of was audio of this black guy and his white friend, and the black guy was directing his white friend through video chat. I think it might have been Instagram, one of those group live streams, and he had his white friend snort crushed up Molly out of his girlfriend's butthole. And that was great. I think in this time, people want to get their minds off of how shitty things are. And I'm trying my best to find those stories to help you guys get your mind off of it. But it's difficult. It's really, really difficult because all the media is doing right now is talking about this pandemic, and it's important. So we're going to be dealing with this news cycle, this continuous, never-ending news cycle of the pandemic, the coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it. Um, the Chinese virus, or the Chinese flu, or the Wuhan flu, whatever you want to call it. That's all we're going to be talking about for a while. And I was talking about this, and I talked about this on my podcast. My friends put crushed Molly on a bowl of weed once. They couldn't stop laughing for like 20 minutes. Yeah, I'll admit to you, I've experimented a lot. I've done ecstasy and Molly. I preferred ecstasy far more than I did Molly because I liked the other shit, all the other drugs that they would add into the Molly or the ecstasy. A lot of people would say that they'd mix in heroin with the ecstasy, but I don't. I think that would be bad business if you're cutting your ecstasy with heroin. Here in the hood of Flint, they aren't practicing social distancing. They are doing barbecues and seeing more people outside than ever. Well, that's on them. That's why shit's pretty fucking bad up there in Michigan right now. I mean, you guys in Flint had been dealing with the fucking water. Hell, who knows? All the lead in the water might have made you guys immune to the coronavirus. But I don't even know. I fucking got sidetracked because I've been reading these things. But yeah, so yeah, I've experimented. I've done a lot of shit. I've still been clean and sober. Haven't drank. I think I'm like on 10 months now. I'm off all the psychotropic drugs. This is the best that I've ever been personally. I'm getting in shape. I'm watching what I eat. Before I stopped drinking, I was almost 200 pounds. I was at 198. Hate to admit that I was over 200. I don't think I would admit if I was over 200, but I was at 198, and now I'm below 170. I'm hovering anywhere in between 168, 169, 170. So I'm doing pretty well. Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, I'm really proud of the recovery, and it's been great. I'm healthy. It's amazing how much shit and how fucked in how much that shit is fucking poison with the alcohol and the psychotropic drugs. I think that's one of the reasons I did what I did. I've gotten fat since I started Kyrox 7 Rights. Well, a lot of people are. A lot of people are eating. I was reading a story where if you wanted to go to the grocery store right now, pretty much all that's on the shelves is all the healthy food. People hate healthy food so much that they would fucking eat junk instead of touch the fucking vegetarian or whatever you want to call it meals. That's all left on the shelves right now. I mean, I think that's why America is having such a hard time with this. Yes, a lot of people have recovered here in the United States, but I think the reason why the death toll, a lot of people have been dying here in the United States, is because of all the underlying issues. A lot of smokers. I think the reason why young people are having a hard time with this disease is because of all the young people that have been vaping. I think vaping has something to do with that. I think the United States is the most obese country in the world. Please, I'm not bashing the United States, but we are one of the most unhealthy countries in the world. More obese people live in America than any other place in the world. And I think that's one of the reasons, all the preservatives and shit that they're stuffing into our foods right now is just completely unhealthy. I think that's one of the reasons why we have a high rate of cancer here in our country. So I think that's one of the reasons why we're having a problem. But back to what I was saying is that I try to find news stories, and that piece of audio I had with the guy directing his friend snorting Molly out of his girlfriend's butthole, that was great audio. And it's awesome me doing this podcast. Yes, I'm not on the radio right now. I had a couple of radio jobs lined up. They were ready to go, but they got put on hold because of this fucking pandemic. And I'm okay with that. I'm doing well. I'm happy with this podcast that I'm doing. You're right on with that, Tuddle. Obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, all those folks don't do well. Yes, that's what I've been reading. So, but with this podcast, it's keeping me sharp. I hate to compare radio broadcasters, people on TV, to athletes, but athletes train all the time. They practice. I think I've had this. I've gone long stints away from broadcast, and then I've come back and I've been rusty. I think this podcast is helping me stay sharp right now, and helping me be a better broadcaster, because I'm having to do this podcast on my own. I'm having to host, set myself up, tell jokes, give my opinions, be polarizing, and play audio and do all that. The production, everything. I think it's making me a better broadcaster. So, guys, I'm sorry to talk your ear off. I'm just fucking on it. I'm on a great setup of weed and Adderall at this time. So I'm a little bit on it right now. So please, I hope you're enjoying these daily live streams. If you have not, check out my daily podcast. That's something that I'm doing every single day. You can check it out. It's the Tuddle Daily Podcast. If you go to any of the great ones, I wish I had some Addies. Yeah, they're good, man. I'm on a very low dosage, but it helps me out. But check out my podcast. Search The Tuddle Podcast, The Tuddle Podcast, and it's on the most popular platforms: iTunes Podcast, iHeartRadio. I never thought I would say that I'd be on iHeartRadio again, because I worked on Clear Channel, which ended up becoming iHeartRadio, as well as Spotify. But if you don't like any of those platforms, you can go directly to, fuck with this light again. I'm almost done. It couldn't have waited. No, it's not, I mean, it's kind of like cocaine, but it helps you concentrate. That's what Adderall is. It's probably not the greatest drug for me, but that's the only pill that I take on a daily basis. Weed, Adderall, and just eating healthy. That's about all I do. But check out my podcast. If you can't use any of those platforms, you want to go directly to the hosting site, you can do that by going to Tuddle. That's Tuddle with two D's. Tuddle.podomatic.com. That's Tuddle.podomatic.com. Guys, thank you for supporting everything I do. If you could please help spread the word, tell your friends, tell your family, retweet my tweets, or just tell people share it. Please, because I'm not on the radio and I can't promote my content right now. So every audience or listener I get is because of you guys helping me spread the word and sharing it on social media. So I'm greatly appreciative. LOL, so all over. Yeah, a lot of people don't get that. Just tell your friends, Daniel. Tell your family. Tell your friends, people you work with. Tell them to check out my podcast, The Tuddle Podcast. It's on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and directly at Tuddle.podomatic.com. Guys, I miss you. Thank you. I appreciate everybody. Be safe. Check out my podcast. It'll be up tonight at midnight.